tag. Very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's tag shit.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really.
What up, Tag Nation? It is 3/4 of the Fatal 4-Way of the IWC here to bring you a hot tag. And of course, y'all know what we're talking about. It just went down yesterday. We talking about good old WarGames that was in Vancouver, BC. And I'm going to keep that same energy, fellas. I'm gonna keep the same energy that I had when we discussed Full Gear, and yeah, I'm keeping that same energy. I'm keeping it.
You know, I don't blame you. One thing that I will say, because when you said WarGames, you brought it up, and I was like, you know what? I miss Regal saying WarGames.
I do miss that as well. I'm on the same.
They gave him an Instagram post of him saying it, but you know.
That ain't good enough.
It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same.
You know who could probably say it? Outside of Rhea, because I know they do the obligatory thing with getting her to say it. But I think Nick Aldis might be able to pull it off. Oh wow.
Oh, what's going on?
We got stuff falling.
You know what? That could potentially be a good substitute.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for the ladies and gentlemen who are new to this. You have myself, Scooter Ray, aka Scoot Games. You got the Forbidden Door down below, Juggernaut 097, and you got current tag prediction champ who's having, some spooky shit happening over there, Mr. Lip Dizzle. Oh, sorry, he's tag prediction champ and the current holder of the tag in the bank, Mr. Lip Dizzle. But he'll be back on whenever he figure out what poltergeist he got going on over there. But yeah, WarGames. 5 matches. You had a WarGames to start, a WarGames to end, 3 championship matches that were sandwiched in between. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get to it. The first match was the ladies' WarGames match. You had Team Rhea that consisted of Rhea Ripley, WWE one half of the WWE Women's Tag Champs Bianca Belair, Naomi, Iyo Sky, and Bayley, versus Team Liv Nia, which you had the Women's World Champion of Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax, current Money in the Bank holder Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Now, this match, it was a little rough.
It was a little rough. Yes. Just like the booking for this match was rough. This match was rough as well.
It was rough. They had some spots that was rough.
Yeah,
but it did get better when everybody entered. But to give the order for the peeps out there, Bayley and Jax started for their teams. Then the faces had the advantage. Then you had Naomi, then Candice, then Belair, then Stratton, then Sky, Rodriguez, Ripley, and then Morgan. So those
I gotta say one thing right here. So to be honest, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like WarGames now is kind of becoming the equivalent of what the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view used to be. Because to be honest, I feel this year they just threw there was really no storyline here for it was just all over the place for what they were doing with the women. I mean, the men's was fantastically built up. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the women's here it's just it was just all over the place. I mean, they had the stuff with Liv and Rhea Ripley. They had the stuff with Naomi and Nia Jax and all that, and then Bianca Belair, and then you have Bayley in there. Who knows if she could trust Bianca Belair and all that. You got Tiffany Stratton in there. It was just all over the place. It was just you have a person in high school trying to make a poster or something, and it's just a complete mess. You don't know where everything connects. That's what I felt like from this match.
Well, I don't know if y'all fellas been keeping up with the weekly programs like this, but to be honest, Jugs, this match literally just came about 2 weeks ago.
Like literally no build to this match.
Literally, it was almost 2 weeks ago, and I was calling it because the way it was looking, I was like, "Nah, don't make this." Yep, they're making it into WarGames. So,
I mean, so the booking behind it made sense because I get what they were trying to do. It did feel rushed. Don't get me wrong, but the pieces were there. However, when it comes to the build for it, the build for it didn't warrant a WarGames match. Honestly, I believe that they really could have probably gone with the traditional Survivor Series match instead.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Or go with a with almost like a stadium stampede type thing, not necessarily the not the full on,
just
but
like a 5-on-5,
just no holds barred. It's
it,
like going like, especially for the women, if you're going to do it like that. But I think the idea of there needing to be both a men's and women's WarGames doesn't make sense if it doesn't warrant it. Let's see, last year I believe was the Damage Control one with
last year it was a Damage Control versus
against Becky and Charlotte, and I think Bianca was on the team as well.
Yeah,
hold on. I can get y'all in 1 second. Y'all go ahead and talk.
Yeah. So that made sense for the women's, and then the men's.
It was Judgment Day versus Team
Judgment
Randy
Day versus Cody and
versus the Faces. Yeah.
So stuff like that.
The women's was Judgment Day versus Shotzi, Becky, Charlotte, and Bianca.
Okay. So yeah, stuff like that tends to make sense, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessary to always need to have a WarGames, because I feel like now it's going to be a forced build. Now, however, it did tend to make sense, with Bloodline this year, Judgment Day last year, and then Bloodline the year before that.
Yes.
That stuff tends to make sense, but Survivor Series is a big four pay-per-view, so there's still that match itself is still a staple. So I don't see why we can't hold on to tradition to some extent and just allow that match to still live on. Or even the Raw versus SmackDown stuff. I mean, I think that could work out too.
Well, some of the spots feel spotty. Like it felt like Up was setting up like the whole Iyo and Tiffany Stratton thing. Like, granted, we love seeing Iyo diving off with the trash can on.
Trash can, yeah.
But it was set up so spotty. Like, there was spots that you could tell the miscues wasn't, queuing like they were supposed to. But hey, ultimately, it landed with Rhea Ripley hitting a riptide off the top rope to Liv Morgan through a table to get the dub. And I'm gonna just put it out there, guys. I'm gonna just say it. This match only benefited Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
No.
This match really only benefited Rhea.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's not important, Jugs, but yeah, before I get into my thoughts on certain parts of the match. Hey, Rhea. That top you was wearing. I'm glad them handcuffs just happened to appear, because Dom and Buddy is messing up, man. Dom messing up.
Not you in essence being sent to horny jail right now.
You know what? I gotta say something.
Jail right now.
I gotta say something as well. You know that spot that Naomi did with Nia Jax in the corner with the toilet seat?
Hey, you stop it.
Hey, you can insert me.
Y'all being sent to horny jail right now.
You can insert me in there, and then you can put my girl Bayley in there, because I'm a mark for
All
Bayley.
right, we will stop objectifying women. Yeah, Tia Rhea gets the dub.
Yeah,
we will. You know what? We're gonna have to start a Patreon for the excess stuff. Anyway, now my thoughts on what they probably could have done better, because the men's War Games match actually did do some good things as far as positioning on the participants on when they all came out. I honestly believe that if they want to start with the heavy hitter, the Hills probably should have started off with Raquel.
Yeah,
because she had already been in a War Games match. She knows how it works out. I think she would have had a better flow with Bayley than Nia. I think Nia probably should have waited to the end. I don't think Liv needed to wait, because I get what they were trying to do, with having her wait, and be scared and stuff like that. But I think they could have done that a better way, especially if you were going to have the start that you did with Nia. And nothing against Nia. I mean, she's good in her own right, but there are just certain things that doesn't cater to her skill set. And this was one of them, especially having her start in the beginning. Yeah. So Raquel would have been way better to start this off with, but yeah,
especially too in this sense, with the faces having the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So absolutely, yeah, Raquel and Nia could have been interchangeable, and it would have been a-okay.
Yeah.
It was something about the booking wise. I don't think the good guys should have won this match. I understand, predictions wise, whatever, but as far as my booking mind goes, that's why I said this match only benefited Rhea, because nothing in this match said that the faces should have won.
Okay.
Other than Rhea.
So your thought process is what I had for the men's. Now, I get what you're saying, but I believe that it was the right call only for the potential future booking, because everything seems okay, and then you still have the whole thing of who took out Jade, if it was one of the faces, and then the whole thing with Bayley and Bianca seeming okay. That's the only reason that I chose the faces, was because it seemed so obvious that it was set up for them to fall to the heels, because of the issues between Bianca and Bayley, and then Bayley and Iyo, which, by the way, sidebar, how is it that Bianca is okay with Iyo, who's still in Damage Control, but still mad at Bayley?
Okay with Bayley?
Yeah, that don't make any sense at all.
Because she accepted Iyo real quick.
The Steiner math ain't adding up right now.
It's not.
Especially not only that, but she was still continuing to feud with Iyo when Iyo and Kyrie were going after the tag team titles.
Yes, exactly.
It just don't make any sense there.
But yeah, the faces once again to show the image. Team Rhea consisted, of course, Rhea, Bianca, Naomi, Iyo, and Bayley. They get the dub. And then we are off to our next match, which
also, I want to say one thing.
Go.
Before we move on to the next match. In every War Games match, the faces have won every single match. Like as for the women go, which is interesting to think about. Because going back to the NXT ones, the faces won there, and then going to the main roster ones, all the faces won there. I learned that last night. So interesting.
Yeah, because one of the most egregious War Games was that one where it was just Rhea and Candice, and they ended up winning. It was like, how did they win 4-on-2? But that was egregious.
Was that the first match? Was that the first NXT?
No, that was the second.
That was the second.
Yeah, that was the second women's War Games.
Yeah.
Now the next match, when I tell y'all, I was happy to be wrong. For the United States Championship, you got LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And boy, oh boy, Shinsuke's presentation has been amazing. The 2 weeks he has been back, the presentation they have been giving Shin is amazing. They gave him a badass entrance on this show. And when I tell y'all, I was ecstatic to be wrong with predicting. I was ecstatic. Because, justice for Nakamura.
I'm happy they took the title off of LA Knight. Because to be honest, up to this point, LA Knight really hasn't done much for the title. And it's not completely on him. It's more on like the way they've been booking him. Because I mean,
I can see that.
really, the only one of the greatest matches he had during his whole whole run was when he beat Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
Well,
that was when he won the title.
this
And
is
everything
the
else.
problem.
Go ahead.
This is the problem with LaKnight, as Dizzle like to call him. LaKnight is on a show with too many superstars. Think about it. You got the Cody Rhodes and his drama. You got the Bloodline and they stuff, and then you got him.
And you throw him right in the middle, and then he just gets lost in the shuffle.
And if we're looking at the landscape of his opponents before Shin, I'm talking about we had Santos, we didn't had Andrade, we didn't had
Carmelo.
Like we've had, like there are great people who could vie for the United States Championship, but in essence, when you're dealing with Cody and what he has going on and everything Bloodline, it's hard to elevate a championship when you got so much going on your show.
And there really has been a whole lot of stories to some of these matches. I mean, it's been like,
And that too.
I mean, they've been good matches here on these pay-per-views. I mean, that's really all it's been.
And you know, shout outs to Michael Cole for fixing LA Knight's faux pas of him dropping the title when he got to the ring. Michael Cole was like, "Hey, Shinsuke got him shook. He's in his head." And I was like, "See, that's why Michael Cole. That's why they pay you the big bucks. That's why they pay you the big bucks." But go ahead, Dizzle. What you got? What you got for it?
I'm a little conflicted, you know, because I'm glad that Nakamura got the dub for sure. Because it's deserved, because they've been scrubbing him like crazy. It does seem a bit sudden, but I understand the booking behind it because they want to make Nakamura seem like a legit threat, which is fine. However, if you were going to pull the trigger on having LaKnight drop the title, you were better off having him drop it, I would say, to either Melo or Andrade, but I'm leaning more towards Melo, mainly because there's more of a story for Melo and Andrade to feud for that title with other people in fresh matches. And I'm only saying that because I'm really upset with how they decided to have LaKnight once again feud with why is his name eluding me right now? Legato.
Oh, Santos
Escobar. Because as many times as they've gone back and forth and how they've feuded, they just automatically just slotted him into have a US championship match, you know, on SmackDown yet again, and it made everything seem more dull. And I think that was the issue with his title reign, is that he had already gone up against a lot of these guys consistently throughout the process of when Reigns was on top. And now this is a good thing, you know, if they do it right, because you can easily slot him into the world title picture now. If one of two things happens: one, Cody drops that title to Kevin Owens.
He needs to. Cody needs to drop that title. Justice for KO. KO's the face in this feud.
Or Cody turns heel, which I am a huge advocate for.
Cody turning heel?
Yes.
Yeah,
now I don't think they're gonna do it this way, but if they did the same thing that he did on the Indies when he did the whole kiss the ring thing in ROH, that was a fantastic heel turn for him. And I think it would work, but at the same time, he's like John Cena face level in WWE. So the only course of action at this point is to have him drop the title to KO, and then have Knight feud with KO down the line, and maybe take the title off of Owens. But even then, that's still, you know, who knows how to book that.
I don't know. I don't think Cody's not dropping that belt until Mania.
Yeah.
If I'm truly being honest, I don't think it's gonna happen until Mania.
Yeah.
Like
I kind of agree with that.
I'm just putting it out there. Like, I understand how we feeling. I don't think it's gonna happen until Mania, to be perfectly honest with y'all. But I think the issue is, once again, like I mentioned, you got Bloodline stuff and you got Cody stuff. And like you said, they kept giving LeKnight repeat people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, it was cool when he was feuding with these people to get the belt. Now that he has the belt, he's still feuding with some of these people. And it's just like, So it did kind of work against him, though, you know, him being champion wasn't bad. It just, you know, kind of worked against him. Yeah. But I mean, you know, the fans are still on his side. The crowd, you know, is still going crazy for him. But this would be a great restart and reset to everything. But all I'm saying is also, too, the sequence in which Shin won, slamming him on that metal part of the ring. And then I'm loving the fact that he's hitting the Kinshasa from the back instead of the front, which makes it look even more brutal and new. United States champion Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Mm-hmm. And I'm posing the question to both of you. Mm-hmm. Do you think LeKnight would fare better off on Raw?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes, I agree with that.
As long as Cody is still there, and as long as Bloodline stuff is still there, yes. Now the issue that's going to happen is, he'll be fine on Raw. He'll be fine. Because I was thinking about him competing with Jay, but that ain't gonna stop shit. That ain't gonna stop. I mean, hell, we saw a Survivor Series last night. That ain't stopping shit. Jay Uso is over.
Yeah, I feel like Jay Uso could be.
Uso is over.
I feel like he could be potential to win the Rumble next year, like the way everything is going.
The only roadblock, you know, no pun intended, is, you know, Mr. You Can't See Me. But other than that, I can see that too.
Yeah, with Shinsuke Nakamura, you know, like I'm happy he took the title from LA Knight here. Like I had a feeling because like you know with WWE track record with Shinsuke, you know, with booking him, I was kind of scared because like that's why I was going with LA Knight last night.
Yeah,
I was gonna go with Knight and then the rematch, and then Shin was gonna take it. That's what I was thinking.
And I'm feeling that they're going to have I feel like they're going to start hot potatoing this belt, which I don't want to see that because I feel like they might have a rematch at what is it, Saturday Night's Main Event maybe?
Yeah, maybe like that's their last event of the year.
You know, to be honest, I wish they would have gave this match a little bit more build because I kind of hate how they rushed it. You know, for like a little 2-week build. You know, they had him return and like you know attack LA Knight, and then they had him do his like whole promo the week after, and then. Yeah. You know, then they did all the mist this week on SmackDown. I kind of wish they would have gave it more build. What's up?
Yes. I'm glad. I'm so glad you said that. Okay, so the promos he was doing when he was feuding with Rollins, that's the Shinsuke that we need for this. I think if they followed this up with that stuff and continue on and do what they should have done when he was feuding with Rollins as well as Cody.
Oh yeah.
I'm here for
out of that.
And you know what? Nakamura should have took the title off of Rollins during that. I think it was that last man standing match. You know when they could have helped protect Rollins there. But you know that's neither here or there.
But once again, Rollins being the first champion, he had to submit that title reign. He had to.
You know, and I'm a Rollins enthusiast. Like I love Rollins so much, but he could have dropped the title there. He could.
And now that you brought it up, I'm not gonna lie. Friday, he hit that poison mist smooth.
That was smooth.
LA Knight ran up in there. He just sidestepped. Nope, gotcha.
Gotcha. He sidestepped.
Now,
oh man.
Arguably, in my opinion, match of the night.
Yes, absolutely. No question.
For the Intercontinental Championship, you got the dog who got that dog in him, Bron Breakker, defending against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. And boy, these boys went out there and had them a fight.
They were slapping meat, as they would say.
Brawl, slapping meat. Word to Big E. They was out there just going bananas.
I'm gonna let y'all, run this shit down with y'all opinions. I just got a couple things to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
First thing, the stuff with Sheamus has been said ad nauseum. I don't think there is anybody that disagrees, that Sheamus is heavily underappreciated. So there's that. There's nothing more that I can say, to that. Now, Ludwig Kaiser. They need to continue to do what they're doing with him, because I can see him as a major heel, whether it be upper mid card or even, world title picture. But with the way that they're pushing him and the way that he's been going, shout out to Gunther, because I'm pretty sure he got something to do with it. But yeah, like he's been a superstar in his own right. Now, Bron Breakker. How I was wrong about him with NXT 2.0.
Well,
he got on.
Let me interrupt you. You were wrong because they Roman Reigns him.
Fair.
It was like NXT 2.0 just started. Bam, here's Bron Breakker. Bam, he's in the main event for the championship. Wait a minute, we don't even know who he is yet.
You're right.
But when they got time to let Bron cook, Bron cooked.
And I will say this: Bron is somebody who is special. It's almost like the LA Knight effect, but it's better, because he is so naturally, organically over.
Yes.
Because it's very rare for somebody to get the tweener energy where you want to push somebody as a heel, but they still root for him. It is very difficult for somebody to get over in that lane, and he has it. And I'm so glad that he can go, and that he can, that he's checking off boxes. It may not be perfect, but he's checking off boxes in the right way, and they're pushing him at a pace that's unlike how they did in NXT, but it's perfect for them here. So the match itself, I don't have anything to say, but yeah, y'all take it. Y'all
can go back and watch our, F that spot video. I'm only gonna allow that man to run at me full speed for the fans.
Yo, I like that spot where he came out of nowhere, just hit him with that shoulder.
That man, and the fact that you can see the legit speed he is running. I'm only doing it for the fans.
You know what I'm only doing for the fans? You know when Bron Breakker does that, he does that like clothesline, like over the table.
That man is.
Yeah, they both going over
the
table. Yeah, that's for the fans as well. That's for the fans.
Jesus Christ, Bronson is just that man is special. I'll throw it out there. The only reason why I went for Big Sheamus, it's a triple threat style. Sheamus still needs to get it for his Grand Slam. I thought they was gonna let him go ahead and get it. I was okay to be wrong on this one too, because I am enjoying Bron as champ. But yeah,
the only thing that I kind of don't like about this match is that Sheamus took the pinfall here. I wish it was Ludwig Kaiser that would took the pinfall, because maybe he could spiral more, and he could
protecting him.
And he could have also went back to Gunther, and then Gunther could have gave him, talking to you, said, "Hey, you failed me again," and you can't do it on your own, And
well, I don't know if y'all watched the post show, all the post show stuff, but they did interview Gunther, and they asked. And he was like, hey, he was proud of him. He went out there. I mean, of course, now this could all be a show. This could all be farce. But, Gunther was like, he was proud of Ludwig. He went out there. He fought like a warrior. He fought like a champion. It didn't go his way. But, he didn't make himself look bad. He didn't embarrass himself. In essence. So
I'm happy they're protecting him, but I just wish Sheamus only took the pinfall, because like really, who's next for Bron Breakker? It's like,
they can figure it out. Because in WWE land, Ludwig can say, "Hey, you didn't beat me one-on-one." Sheamus can technically say, "Hey, you didn't beat me one-on-one." So hell, look at the logistics of the match. Sheamus had it won had it not been for Ludwig pulling out the ref.
Pulling out the ref,
what I'm saying? So, there's always some things that they can go about to do. And then, especially with everything coming up, they'll find somebody for Bron. Hell, maybe even Jey Uso might come back and be like, hey, say big dog. I ain't forget that you took my belt off me. I ain't forget. You know what I'm saying? So they can always run back Jey Uso and Bron just to, book in that storyline. But yeah, Bronson's gonna be a problem. I can 1000%. If I think the only thing that's going to mess up Bron Breakker, a major injury, or he's one of them people who wants to get on social media and say dumb shit.
Oh no, you said it. I mean, you were saying it wrong, but you said it right because you said Bronson for Braun.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But
Braun,
give me a feud with Breakker and Bronson. Because again,
that could happen.
Braun is technically a tweener right now with the energy that he's getting. So him and Bronson,
I like to see Rollins and Braun go at it. That'd be a fun little rivalry, fun little feud.
That can happen too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We can see it. It all depends on. I think what a lot of it's going to depend on is, well, let's get into it. The next match we got for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus Damian Priest. And boy, oh boy, one thing I love about Gunther and his matches, they never really seem to disappoint. And I can appreciate the build this time around because they build Damian Priest way better than they did when Priest was champion. And I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that why we couldn't get that Priest a few months back, but we got him now. But
I really hated how they really booked this match. Like leading up to this match, like how they had Gunther acting like this chicken shit heel, basically.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like all of it made sense because don't forget, Gunther is the ring general. He's the king of the ring. He's the champ, and he lost to Cody. And it was like, oh shit, maybe I'm not as good as I am.
And then he also
here it is. You had the man I took the title from punking me week after week. So maybe I am not that guy. And this was him sort of getting his confidence back.
And then also Gunther, he didn't win it fairly at SummerSlam because we had everything happen with Liv and all that.
And once again, you just put another asterisk in Gunther's storyline. He didn't win it by himself yesterday.
That's true. I mean,
so now,
I just don't know why they had to make him look so weak in this. Because he couldn't get much words out during this whole feud.
Like I said, I loved it because once again, you go from seeing this man who's been uber dominant now having his confidence shaken. I loved it. That's why I said I love the fact that Priest was like, "Nah, I'm gonna show you what it is," because he says, "I'm not champion anymore. I technically have nothing to lose."
Yeah.
So I can appreciate the way they built this storyline, and now it expands it more because now Gunther is like, right when I thought I was doing something, here come this damn street trash, as he nicknamed them. The street trash come out and interfere, and I still didn't technically win this match by myself. So I'm appreciating it because now, like I said, to tie back into the previous thing, Gunther gets the dub. So now, depending on how they spin this, now we can see potentially how the world title picture and the intercontinental title picture can look because all interchangeable parts here.
Yeah. This is clearly leading to a triple threat between Priest, Balor, and Gunther.
I can see that.
When that's gonna happen, I don't know.
Do you push it all the way to February, or do you do it at Saturday night's main event?
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Royal Rumble's actually in February.
Or I mean, or they could be like, hey, first Raw of the year.
First Raw of the new year,
Yeah, first Raw of the year on Netflix. Gunther versus Priest
that's
versus
true.
Balor. So that way at least gives it a month to build it.
You know what? You know what they probably could do in order to push it? I think they could probably do a Balor and Gunther match and Priest interferes in that.
Yeah.
And then you can push it to Rumble. But yeah, that's clearly the direction they're gonna go. I don't know what happens after that because clearly Gunther would win. But
clearly.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, the match itself again was solid.
Yes.
And this did more of a favor for Priest than it did Gunther. I mean, Gunther got his confidence back. We knew that was going to happen because there was no issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this did a favor for Priest because he could have easily lost that title to Gunther and then just gone off into obscurity and then been relegated to either the mid card or hell, catering to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
But luckily, they allowed him to kind of build himself up, show what he can do in the ring to a much better degree where he can hang with Gunther. And now they're booking him as if he's on par. So I'm with that. I'm with that because that shows that he's clearly going to end up winning either that title or the WWE championship at some point.
At some point, yeah.
So.
And if y'all didn't see, Judgment Day did do a backstage beatdown on Priest.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. When the cameras, it's on their Instagram, but when the cameras cut to it, Priest was fighting off JD and Carlito and Finn, like he was fighting them all off, and of course they eventually overwhelm him. And the closing moments was Carlito and JD had him prone on the table with his arm exposed, and Finn took a chair to his shoulder that was hurting him. So yeah.
Whew. All right. Well,
so I wonder where was Dum Dum and all this, because he wasn't there last night apparently. So I wonder where Dirty Dom
he was in
all of this. Probably so. But yeah, Gunther gets the dub. He hits that power bomb, kind of chokes out Priest, and as you see, still remains your world heavyweight champion.
That he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it is time for that main event, the match that pretty much the whole show was built around, if we're truly being honest. And we have the men's war game match of Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Jimmy and Jay Uso, and Sami Uso versus the Bloodline. Yep, I'm calling them the Bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Bronson Reed, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. And boy, oh boy, did this match have all of the theme, all of the energy, all of the aura, everything. Because the one thing, when it first happened, I was like, Ashley, watch this. Bloodline music hits, all of them come out together, unified front. And I was like, I tell you, none of them gonna come out together. None of the other team is gonna come out together. And lo and behold, everybody, one by one. And I just love the fact of the whole Roman Reigns and you just not knowing, how he's feeling about things. You got CM Punk starting shit with the Bloodline before the match even starts. And then you got goddamn Tama Tonga climbing the whole, like he's Spider Monkey in the whole goddamn.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then lo and behold, you had everybody come out, and then you had main event Jey Uso in Iyo Sky, and oh my god. Let us use our time machine that we don't have, and let's Did we truly think 10 or so years ago will we ever see this to be a sight where Jimmy RJ would be as just over and just Jesus Christ? It is a crazy thing to see, especially if you're a longtime wrestling fan, to see how the Usos were treated, to how they started to get their respect, and to just see Jay today. And it was like, they legitimately love this man. This is not no farce. This is not no fake. This is like, this crowd goes stupid for Jay Uso.
You know what? Last year when I went to Survivor Series WarGames, I didn't know how really over Jay Uso was until I was there, and everybody was yeeting, skeeting everywhere, and like they were just busting their loads for Jay Uso. Man, that's what yeeting is. And this year he's having him come out last. I thought Roman or CM Punk would come out last, but no, they made Jay come out last. So
because he was starting too. When I realized he was going to be the one starting, I was like, it makes sense for him to come out last
and come out through the crowd like that. Like, he's just so over. Like, that's why I think he could be one of the potential, like, someone who could be potentially to win the Rumble next year.
Because not only that, because like, it's crazy because then you see somebody like Roman who has that aura and fanfare, then it was like, nah, Jay still got to come out. It was like, nah, Jay still got to come out. And before we get into
I want to mention about like how they had like their intros, with everybody talking like an NFL type of
yeah.
I thought that was funny. And then like I think it was the funniest one I saw was Tama Tonga. He was like, university.
Doctor.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why.
I'm telling you, one of the best characters in WWE today. I don't care what anybody says. That damn Jacob.
I love you, Solo.
I love you, Solo. No, Jacob Fatu, Samoan werewolf. I love you, Solo.
I need a girl to present their love to me like Jacob Fatu presents it to Solo Sikoa.
Hold on. Before we get into anything else, just get into it. Tama Tonga, Jay Uso started. The Bloodline had the advantage. Bronson Reed was next, then Jimmy, then Jacob, then Zayn, Tonga Loa, then Punk, then Solo, then Reigns. Go ahead, Dizzle.
I think it's all credit to either Roman or Heyman, or Roman and Heyman, because when this whole tribal chief stuff started, it was part of the storyline where they kept saying main event Jay.
Yep.
And I think it's all credit to the beginning of all that. Now Jimmy, of course, didn't get too much of the rub from that. He still can, of course, but
remember he had that broke ankle. That's
true.
He had that broke ankle, and because I was telling Aranya this, I was saying the Usos was really one of the first tag teams that WWE didn't do their typical thing of when one tag partner is injured, both tag partners are injured.
Yeah.
And they needed something to start off that Roman tribal chief thing. So it was like, shit, Jimmy is out. Get Jay to do it.
Yeah.
Get Jay to do it.
And that in itself was perfect. And it worked out with them, with how the storyline went, and then him, getting with Cody and then moving on to Raw and having him be his own man, which was perfect. And then putting the IC title on him, even better. I hate that he had to lose it in the way that he did.
Right.
But that goes to show that there's more there. And I think, now I don't know if they'll let him win the Rumble, but I think Jugs is on the right path to saying that, there is room there is room for him to move into a certain lane and go as far as he possibly can. So we'll see. But
and I don't know if you noticed too, this is the first tag team of twins that they actually let the twins have their own individuality.
Absolutely.
You look at the Bashams, the Bellas, all of them.
Well, the
all the
Bellas ended up.
But
Bellas
you
ended
can
up getting
still.
individual.
They started looking individual only attire wise, but you can.
Well, that's
still
only because
tell,
of Nikki, because Brie was god awful.
You know, attire wise, and of course Nikki getting implants and everything. But as far as still look,
yeah.
You know, Bellas, they didn't switch their looks. They still
there
look the same.
There was one point where I couldn't tell the Usos apart. Like, wait, which one's which one's Jay, which one's Jimmy? And then, you know, I started looking at their tattoos. I go like, okay, yeah, Jay has a certain, like, with the what were those tribe tattoos? Those tribal tattoos. Like, okay, Jay has this certain one, Jimmy has that certain one. That's how I used to tell them apart. But then when they started splitting them off on their own a little more, you know, doing the yeet and all that. And,
I mean, hell, even when they was dealing with the Uso Penitentiary, you can kind of start to see the differences with Jimmy and Jay. So and I was like, that's the first time ever that they let twins actually have individuality. And I was like, hell, in wrestling, period. Like, if you just look at wrestling, period, the Harris brothers in WCW were the same. Hell, the Renegade twins, like, period. This is the first set of twins that kind of had their own individuality in wrestling. So it was like, good on them. But all right, so let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. WarGames. It got good. It got good. There was still some parts where it was a little, but see, the poltergeist. See, he has a whole poltergeist, and I saw it that time. He has a whole poltergeist in his room right now.
You know what? I'm just gonna leave it as is. You know, I'm not even gonna.
I don't even know what keeps fault. What was that?
What was that time?
No, it's the same thing. It's my ring light.
Oh.
Clearly, I'm not meant to have my ring light. So
clearly,
apparently they don't want you to be great.
They don't. I get it. It's fine. We not even gonna rock it like that.
I hope Bronson Reed's ankle is okay.
Wait, his ankle was messed up?
Somebody showed the footage. He kind of came down on his ankle when he did that tsunami.
Splash off the top, tsunami.
Yeah, he kind of came, like somebody zoomed in and showed it. He kind of came down on his ankle. So, and you know, Jacob took that spill, but Jacob is like, fuck it.
Yeah,
my love for Solo is gonna get me through this. Like,
oh yeah, the way when Jimmy, it was Jimmy who did the splash off the top, the Uso splash.
Apparently Jimmy broke his toe.
Really?
Yeah,
he pulled that Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, at the press conference, Jay said Jimmy broke his toe.
Yeah, but when Jimmy did that splash off the top and did it on Jacob, and then Jacob went the way he was telling it afterwards, like it looked like he was kind of like having like a seizure or something. Like Jacob was telling
he pulled the Devon.
Yeah.
I used to love seeing Devon convulsing all over the floor.
And then also when Jacob did that moonsault and then Punk moved out of the way, like it looks like they were kind of set up like an injury for Jacob there, which that was great. He was great at selling. He did great selling.
That man is built really differently. Yeah. Jacob is legitimately built differently. Like, I would be the first to say I wasn't 100% familiar with Jacob. Like, I would see his highlights, I would see things here and there, but like truly seeing the fact that he's keeping that same energy on the big stage, you got to give credit to Jacob. You got to.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad that WWE themselves are memeing the whole "I love you" Solo stuff, because that is comedic gold to me.
All right, so booking wise, there was no reason the good guys should have won this. I don't care.
Absolutely.
I don't care. There was nothing you could have told me that would have. I think Jugs, you picked the OG Bloodline, right?
Yeah,
he's the only one that did.
Yeah, the only reason
there was nothing that could have told me to pivot from.
To be honest, Bloodline. I wouldn't mind if if the new Bloodline would have won the match. I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind
like
that.
there was nothing could have knocked
But the
me
thing
off
is,
that
like, the
pivot.
reason why I was going with OG Bloodline, because you had CM Punk and Roman Reigns on the same team. But then again, like I could have saw, maybe Punk, churning on Roman, because we saw a little tension there when Punk, went past him, like when you thought Roman was going to enter in the match before, and then Punk was like, "Get out of my way." He goes, "Excuse me." I says, "I'm going in the match. I'm doing what I wanted to do here." Or who knows? I could have thought maybe there could have been some interference in the match. Maybe Rollins could have got involved. I wish they would have showed like Rollins backstage or something. Maybe being like upset. Like that.
Rollins was like, "Hey, I didn't want to get involved in this."
That's true, but
he told him.
Yeah, that's true. But still seeing Punk there in that spot, they could like show a little.
So
being a little upset.
Put a pin with that one, and let Dizzle get his bars off. But put a pin in that one.
Yeah. The only problem that I have, I'm sorry, there's a lot of problems that I have with them winning, but the major problem that I have with them winning is that Roman doesn't deserve to have this win yet.
I agree.
Because
I see that.
They with everything in it. That's why I'm glad that they're keeping it with how Rollins is treating everything. That's one of the only well-booked things with that and the Heyman stuff is the only well-booked things within this whole program, because Roman did a lot to a lot of people, and there's no way that there should be this much cohesion with OG Bloodline. Especially
to top that point, that brings back your point with the whole Bianca, Iyo and Bayley situation. How the fuck is Bianca so cool with Iyo? With Iyo was standing just side by side with Bayley during all of this and continued to feud. Roman was doing worse.
Yes.
Hence what Jugs was saying earlier. KO is 1,000% correct. This man was trying to end me. Him and his whole fucking family was trying to end me for the better part of 3 years, and you stood next to him like nothing. Yes. And you're right. There are so many people. Jimmy should be the only one who should have been on Roman's side, while Jay should have still been kind of like, I'm only doing it for Jimmy. Sammy should have been like, I'm only doing it for Jay.
Hey, and CM Punk like, I'm only doing it for Heyman.
Yeah. Which again is fine, but at the same time, they should not have that same level of cohesion as the new Bloodline is.
They should have not at all.
And I get it. I get the fact that you got Punk there, cool. He's him and Roman, superpowers, no problem. But if this is the way that they're going to book the shit, and The Rock is the one that's pulling the strings behind the scenes, you're telling me that you have Lance and Hawaii signed. You're telling me you have Hikuleo signed. You're telling me that there's nothing that you could have done to make it so that way the Hills would have won or had some type of upper hand over anything. To be
perfectly honest with you, the Hills shouldn't have needed Lance or Hikuleo. They should have just won.
Because they had Bronson.
And like you said, justice for Bronson.
When you have Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu on the same team, that's
a layup. That's a layup. That's a layup.
And Bronson is looking so good right now, but he is being booked so poorly, and it's making me mad, because it's like, what's the point of you having him make the jump from Raw to SmackDown to join? And thing is, and I know there's a lot of people that saying, oh, well, it's the new Bloodline and Bronson Reed. Here's the thing: Bronson is still putting the ones up.
He's still
he part of the Bloodline.
Yeah, he ain't doing like CM Punk, but CM Punk is clearly, showing that, I'm still my own man here.
Yeah.
So you're right. He is putting the ones up.
So my thing is, why not, if you're going to add a new member, make them look even stronger? The Bloodline, the OG Bloodline, doesn't need the win. They could easily take L's because of the of the fracture that they have in between them, because it's a combustible element with everything. Jay, Roman, Sammy, Roman, Jimmy, Roman to an extent, CM Punk, everybody. Look.
Everything you're saying makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
it's upsetting because now granted they could do something completely off the wall that makes sense down the line, but I feel like there was way more story that you could have told with that, because what do you do with the new bloodline since they took this L? You can't have them go on SmackDown talking shit and being like, hey, we running this, because the only thing you can do at this point is to have Roman feel emboldened to the fact that now he can face Solo for the Ulafala.
I feel like that's going to happen at maybe Saturday Night's main event, but then I feel like we're going to get a whole bunch of shenanigans in that match. Maybe that's where we get maybe Hikuleo. I don't know, or
I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on them yet, because I think if they would have, they probably would have had them join instead of Bronson.
Yeah,
but
to be honest, they should have had Hikuleo come from like under the ring, like.
I thought that's what they were going to do at first.
They should have did that.
I did think that, but then it was like,
yeah, I think they're going to save Hikuleo for when Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa split from this whole bloodline thing,
I can see
and then have them do their shit. Because I mean, this whole the new bloodline feud isn't lasting past WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is the shelf life for it. I think we're going to be done with bloodline stuff completely, and we're going to be on to new stuff. But
then
it's crazy how long the bloodline stuff has went on for. Like, since
2020.
Since 2020.
Since 2020. Well, since the end of 2020.
Yeah.
But then, kind of like what you were saying too, Roman still has that attitude and that demeanor, and it was like it's nothing Roman did that should have rallied the troops.
He hasn't learned anything yet. He
hasn't apologized to anybody for what he's done to anybody.
No. He said yeet.
That's it. That's it.
That's
it. But yeah, I totally agree that was nothing you could have told me that would have justified Roman's team winning.
Yeah.
But to kind of go back to that pin I put, I kind of want to know what's going to be this favor CM Punk wants Paul.
I was thinking about that, and I waited between one, it being that he has to disassociate himself from Roman.
I was thinking that too.
And then two, that he sticks with him, and he helps him do what he did for Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But because that's the only thing I can think of.
I wasn't thinking like, because Roman doesn't have the title, like he can't get like a title match or anything. I mean, he probably will eventually get a title match, but like he can't get the favor for a title.
So well, it's Punk is still Punk is on the Raw roster, so yeah, there's that.
That's true.
He could easily be like, Paul, get me in versus Gunther or something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what that favor is. I think either he disassociates from the bloodline, or he stays with Punk. Yeah,
but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of and then one thing I can sort of appreciate they did, but I wish they would have went full tilt. I wish they would have had Solo stood up and looked at all five of them and been like, still the tribal chief. Like he still tried to come at Roman with the Samoan spike, but I wish he would have just looked up and looked at all five of them and been like, what? No matter what y'all do, I'm still the chief. I'm still running this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he took everybody's finisher. He took a finisher spam to end the match, but it was like, I guess.
Yeah, doing those double super kicks, doing the
Haluva kick,
doing GTS spear,
then the spear.
But, yeah, because and that's the thing that got me, because it seemed so final.
Yeah, it did. It really did. It seemed so final. Like, hey, y'all could never associate with each other again, type of situation.
Yeah, and so because the only thing that I believe that they could probably do at this point, and I'm just speaking on New Bloodline alone, on their actions, is they would have to start individually taking out OG Bloodline members to where Roman is just by himself. That's the only thing I can think of that would actually make more sense for them to still have some type of, edge over what's going on.
You know what?
Good. Huh.
Also, Roman Reigns, when he was climbing the cage last night, I'm like, man, he's done the most since he's done like in 4 years. Like climbing the cage like that, going in that way. I mean, Roman, hey, I see you here putting in the hard work here.
You know what? To even put it in more perspective, Roman Reigns don't even deserve Paul Heyman right now.
No,
that's true.
He doesn't even deserve. He abandoned Paul when Paul was sitting there being seamlessly tortured by Solo in the Bloodline. Roman was nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
It took them to finally take out Paul for him, and it's like they're fast tracking too much with this Roman situation,
and that's what's getting me.
Fast tracking.
Yeah, they're fast tracking this. Yeah,
but hey, we're here. Of course, by the way we were speaking, if you didn't get it, that's the team that won. Now, I will say this. That is an amazing image, by the way. It is. That is an amazing image. But it should have been the other way around. It should have been
also, the way that they were like, there was like so much anticipation, like after the match, like, oh, is there going to be anything that, something that happens? Because they were pointing to the top of the stage quite a bit. Like, huh. And then when they started exiting, I was like, oh man,
I thought your prediction was going to happen.
I was hoping, like maybe maybe we might get The Rock. I don't know, maybe at Saturday night's main event, maybe the first Raw of the year. Because you know how The Rock was at the first Raw of 2024, and they were in Los Angeles as well. They're trying to make that Raw something big. Maybe maybe The Rock shows up there. But I was going, because I'm pretty sure The Rock is behind a lot of this new Bloodline stuff. It's just wondering when we're going to get it.
He's about to pull that Thanos bullshit where it's like, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself. My Black Order couldn't get it done, so it's time for me to do it.
It's ridiculous, man.
But hey, overall, personally speaking, I know, like I said, I'm keeping the same energy. Overall, personally speaking, same thing with Full Gear. It's in the middle. This isn't this isn't gonna be a pay-per-view that I'm gonna be like remembering like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable to watch. It wasn't like a boring 3 hours or anything. It was enjoyable to watch. Shout out to that triple threat match, because once again, match of the night.
Yeah.
So I don't want y'all to think that, we sitting here caping for WWE, but in essence, we kind of shit on Full Gear. Full Gear deserved.
Yeah, Tony Khan, he needs to figure out what he's doing with that company right now. Oh my God.
Jack Perry, lucky I didn't go further in. But we ain't talking about. But we ain't. Shut up. We ain't talking about Full. We ain't talking about Full Gear. Jack Perry. You better be a good boy by the time World's End come around, because you will get the same wrath. But Survivor Series overall, like I said, I give it a solid B-, maybe a C+. B-,
it's in the area.
It was 7 or 8. If we round up in there. This is going to sound the way it's going to sound, but with this being the final PLE of the year, it should have been better.
Yeah.
Should have been better.
I like last year's, kind of being biased, but I like last year's WarGames.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you had Randy coming back, you had CM Punk, you had a lot going on at last year's Survivor Series, so that makes sense. Whether you were in the building or watching it makes sense. Because from a fan standpoint, it's November 30th. Mm-hmm. Y'all are not back on pay-per-view to February 1st.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that means there's either going to be a lot of TV stuff that's going to happen. And of course, now we're about to get into Rumble building. And so far with Saturday night's main event, all we have is the finals to the Women's United States Championship. It better be Chelsea Green. And we have Cody versus KO. That's all we have so far.
I think they might end up fast tracking the women's Intercontinental Championship shit. And
I was
think they
thinking
might
that too.
do it the
I was
same
thinking
on
that
the
too.
same
Are they
show.
gonna try to
I
fast
feel
track
like
the
they should
women's?
do the women's finals maybe like at the first Raw of the year.
I mean, that could be that they might do
That's
that.
probably
Too.
that's probably exactly what they're gonna do, Jugs.
The first Raw of the year, or
to
like they
introduce that
might,
first Raw
they
on
might make it.
Netflix.
Because how many weeks are we away from Saturday Night's main event? Like 2 weeks. Like
2
they
weeks.
can't really do a tournament in like 2 weeks unless they do like a
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
yeah.
Especially if they're doing it the same way that they're doing the women's US championship.
Also,
tournament.
I'm not a fan of them having 2 women's mid card belts. Like
Only
I'd
because of the brand split. Only because of that.
rather have
you
them
know-
titles just flow back from Raw. And
Well,
Smack.
this is the problem. This is the problem. And this is one of our upcoming videos that we are yet to do. We see what happens when championships float between shows.
Mm.
They tend to be a little cursed. Because that women's tag team championship, although it's needed, it's cursed. So it is very much justified to let SmackDown have the US and let Raw have Intercontinental.
I saw something online that was saying, I don't know who said this, but they were saying, oh, maybe they need 2 sets of the women's tag team belts. Like, are you crazy?
No,
I said,
they
no.
already had 2 sets, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
And now they're going. Because NXT
what
had it, and then so
what they're probably gonna do, I think they might be bringing back Evolution.
It's needed.
I need
It's
to
needed.
really come back. Yeah, on all women's pay-per-view.
And it'll be a more fleshed out pay-per-view.
They look
with
like a
there
glorified
being-
house show,
Yeah,
like it did last time.
because having the women's tag, having the now individual singles titles, having 2 sets of women's world titles. Now, granted, they could have done without it because they could have just used the NXT women, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah,
WWE, I fucks with y'all heavy. Do not, and I repeat, do not give that belt to Raquel Rodriguez just because she's with Liv Morgan and have both of them as champion. I'm not saying Raquel doesn't deserve it or anything, but don't do that. Don't do that. It's not needed. It's not needed. I promise you. Raquel can win it down the line, or hell, she can even win the women's championship down the line. Don't just give that belt to Raquel because she's aligned with Liv and Liv is champion and you want them to both have championships. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I don't know who on Raw should win the Intercontinental Championship at this moment, but don't just fast track it. Please.
very true. Very true. Don't do that. But yeah. If nothing else, Survivor Series is in the books. We're on to the next one, which is a Deadline. But like we always say, whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, questions, concerns down below, whether you agree or disagree with us on how we felt about the show, how we could have worded things differently, what you would have done if you were booking this show. Go ahead and leave it all down there. Make sure to tag that like button. Tag that like button. Tag the notification bell so that way you get updated and notified on anything that we drop at any point in time. And make sure, most importantly, that you tag that subscribe button. But as I warm up the hand from my bros, so that way we can go ahead and get that nice too sweet going with the good bada 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 bam. And as we sign off, as always, until you see these handsome faces and hear these immaculate voices, we bid you all adieu. And until next time, you beautiful, 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 beautiful mother effers, tag the fucketh out.
I love my